Okay, mamas, but I'm filming, so I'm gonna change the bass strings and all that, and you can't sit on it or cause any type of distractions. Okay, you can be in it. Say hi, this is Baba. Say hi, everyone. Move your booty. Move your butt. We don't want your booty in the camera. Episode 1 of I show you music things so that you don't have to watch some random old guy on YouTube do it. Today, we're gonna be changing my bass strings. Very, very overdue for a string change. I play 4 instead of 5, right? This is an active bass. So we're going to put in new batteries. These are 9 volts, and there's 2 of them. This is active. It takes 2 9-volt batteries. So we're gonna put them in here. You'll also need a screwdriver or something to get through the back here. This is where you see the batteries actually go. So we're gonna go behind here and loosen up these screws and change the batteries. And I recommend changing your strings as often as you feel necessary. Some session players change them before every session. Some people like that lived in feel. If you play round wounds, which you'll be able to tell the difference, maybe if I put these close, you can kind of see. These are round wound strings that are on here currently. So they've got like chrome and they're a little more textured. When I open the flats, I'll show you the flats, but the flats are a little less textured, and because they're not as textured, they don't need to be changed as often, if that makes sense. So let's get into it. All right, so the first thing you're gonna do is you're going to detune the bass. Now when you're detuning the bass, you're gonna tune all of them down, boop, 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 and as you tune, they should go really, really floppy. That's what you want, because what you don't wanna do is go into clipping these strings on here, and then you snapping them, and you're messing up the actual neck of the bass. I'm gonna keep it in my lap. Really, if I go to the luthier, they have like a proper table for this, but this is a quick string change. Now, I like to play right now with drop C tuning, and so my strings are already kind of loose and wobbly, so it wasn't hard for me to get them out. And then this bass actually strings through the back. You see that? So these guys will come out. You'll see them go out through here. 1 second. But you can see them if I just give it a little push. You can see that string come out. And then we can carefully pull it out. And you just want to be careful you don't let them flop everywhere, because then you'll have like a weird scratches or scrapes on your bass. So we're going to take them off. Some people like to take them all off. I'm going to do that because I feel like it's a good time to give the fretboard a wipe down. And that's my goal here, to be able to wipe down that fretboard and really make sure that everything's clean. It's been a while. If I'm just changing one string, because sometimes it happens, bass strings aren't like guitar strings where they go as quickly, but they still need a good change. We're just going to pull those out. Next, the D string. We've done our E and our A string. Now onto that D string. Just loosen them at the headstock. Give that a wiggle and pull back down. I'm not a luthier. All the luthiers in your comments, all the bass techs in the comments, don't yell at me. This is just how I do it. And now to our baby G string. G string. And then we take her. Now some people like to keep their old strings as backup strings, so if that's what you're going to do, feel free to do it. But I'm just going to gather all these loose and wobblies and sit them to the side so that they're not in my way. Okay, let's give her that wipe down I was talking about. So I'm just gonna use my microfiber cloth, yeah, she's pink, and just give her a little shine, getting in those frets, getting in those pickups, really polishing her up. It's been a while since I got in there. And polishing anything that needs to be polished. Some people oil their fretboards. Mine doesn't really need it. Not at the moment, she's not feeling dry. But if you oil your fretboard, I suggest using mineral oil. Don't use like an olive oil or a natural oil, because it can create a kind of funky smell on the fretboard. Traditionally, there's fretboard oil, and I would just say it's like a lemon-scented mineral oil. You can use baby oil in a pinch. But I'm just shining up here. I'll show you all the chrome hardware around the body of the bass. Just watching these will move, so be careful with them, especially with those strings. You want to keep an eye on your neck to make sure nothing's bent, nothing's warped, going around the back. Like I said, she's used in sessions and lots of rehearsals, so I want to make sure she's really clean up to the neck and her little polish. And polishing these bad boys. I love my fiber that picks up any dirt or grime without leaving a lot behind. Ooh. All right, she's looking pretty. She's looking good. She's looking sexy and shiny, and now we're ready to restring. We're doing flat brown D'Addario chromes. Just open in the back. So it'll let you know what string goes where by the colors. You see you've got this gold tip, red tip. Ooh, let me be careful. You can see they're coming unwound. Black and green. And these are beautiful. I already know that I'm going to enjoy these. Okay, so we're going to start. I want to start with this. Unwinding all of them. And this is going to be our 4th string. It's the thickest, aka our E string. And like I said, remember these string through the back. Where did I put it? Where did I put it? I just had you. Oh, found it. Okay. So this is going to be our E string, guys, and we're just going to take her. And you see they've got this. So all of this wiring is what you have to work with when you are actually tuning it. Like I said, I have my clippers just in case it's a little long, but keeping that extra length might be nice because then you have more room to tune. If you clip it sometimes, it's a little bit short. So we're going to go through the back. This right here is going to be our E string, and we're just going to slide her through. And as you slide her through, you see it's coming out the front. And then whoop, pulling it forward, pulling it forward, pulling it forward until we see that brass piece comfortably inside of the hole. You see that? So she's in there. Then we're going to pull it across. Twist it so that it lays. And we're going to pull her across. Boop, boop, boop. And then we're going to place her into the head of the headstock. Now this is where it gets kind of funky, kind of creative, because you want to remember how your base is tuned. So when you tighten, the goal is going to be to have the string tighten. So when you turn toward the body, rather, it's going to loosen the headstock, and when you turn toward it, will loosen the string rather, and when you turn toward you, it's going to tighten it. So I like to create a little bit of friction around, turn around, it's the only way I know what's left you. And as the string tightens, there are these little notches toward the neck. I'll show you after I get this on. But ideally, you want that string settled in those notches. Like I said, if I was a pro, I would have a table and be doing this on a super flat surface. I tune down. It's also another reason why I wanted to go to a heavier gauge of string. I don't mind having a little bit of extra because I don't tune in straight standard tuning. I like to tune in drop C. So more wiggle room on that headstock doesn't necessarily bother me. Gives me more room to loosen that string. And like I said, as you're winding, the string is going to be tempted to come up. So you want to keep a little bit of tension. This is where those base calluses come in handy, my babes. Those calluses come in handy. And you'll see that string is tightening up on the body as I'm twisting. I'll show you in a second. Now these strings do have a tendency to come unwound, so I like to create kind of sharper tension and angles. We'll see if this actually holds up, and if not, I'll give it a trim because this is quite a few more winds. And on the last one, I like to pull it through like this so that we're really getting everything in the place it needs to be. Yep, and you'll feel that tightness start to come over the string. So that E string is good to go. Now we're gonna go in with our A string. I do like that they color code these so that even if you can't tell by the gauge, when I say the gauge, you'll see the gauge or the weight of the string. They're all, they should get decreasingly, thinner and thinner. So this is a little bit thinner than our E string was. If you can't tell though for some reason, I do like that they color code them for you. So that's not a problem. And then we're gonna do the same thing. Slide that through, allow it to come across, give it a little push. And so here you'll see that A string on the fender has a little notch underneath it. So that string needs to go and slide underneath this notch on the base. So as you're tightening it, put it underneath that notch. And then pop that bad boy in there. And then same vibes. Give it a little twist around. That's it. Now come into this. And have a strong hand draw. And then same deal. Hit and twist. So when you twist the knobs away from you, the tuning knobs, that string will tighten. And as you twist the tuning knob toward you, it will loosen. This is important because when you're on a gig, you don't want to put your strings in backwards. I've done it before. And then you need to tune up on an emergency and everything you're doing is backwards. I have made that mistake before. I'm excited to be playing flats on this bass, guys. I've been experimenting a lot with my sound, and I think that flats are going to be a fun new addition to play, especially with drop tuning. Give me a real low but mellow sound. We've got that D string on. Now I like to keep the tension even, so I'm actually gonna go with my small string and then meet in the middle with this D string, just to make sure that the neck tension is staying. There's a little something on the other side, if that makes sense. So same deal. But yeah, I feel like representation in these things is so important. So my goal was to make more bass content of me just having the bass in my hand, doing some of those more technical aspects of caring for the bass, so that anyone who was inspired to play and maybe felt like, oh, there's not a place for me in this because I don't see people who look like me doing it, can know like that's not true. There are people who look like you, girl. Pick up that instrument, like you got this. Okay, same deal. We're tightening the tuning knobs, making sure to keep everything in alignment with those notches, and placing them underneath the designated ridges on the instrument, giving them the appropriate amount of tension. I know that when I take this in to get set up, they're gonna adjust things, but I know how to do my own setup and I know kind of what I like, so. Real footage of what I'm doing behind the scenes on my gigs, and making sure that as you're tightening that tension, like I said, things aren't popping out from up underneath that headstock. Yep, yeah. G string is in place. She's nice and tuned. That was easy. Through the back. See it come up. And then, ta-da! Same deal, sliding it underneath. We're gonna slide underneath that little knob. Boop. And pop her right in here. Give her a hard pivot and a twist at the top. And then get to twist it. Boy, I saw you soon as you came bouncing through the door. You and your man and then just took over the floor and started doing your thing, and it made me notice you even more. The way you turned around and looked at me, it seemed as though you must have somehow caught me standing on the low. Something tells me you're the kind of guy I'd like to get to know. I ain't even gonna front, I ain't even gonna lie. Since you walked up in the club, I've been giving you the eye. You can dance if you want, get it crackin' if you like. Must be a full moon, feels like one of those nights. Is this the first time that I'm seeing you around? Could you be visiting or are you new in town? Yeah, whatever the case is, I'm feeling you right here and right now. Your smile and all the love you show, it lets me know that you like what you see and wanna get to know me too. Strings are changed, neck is shined up, everything's looking sexy, all of that. And the flats feel good already. You see? Easy peasy. And you can see they're all here in the... We're here. We're done. We did that. All right, let me get my screwdrivers and we'll get into changing the battery. If you're watching this and you love me, buy me a new screwdriver or something. This is my rack, by the way. Isn't she pretty, huh? One moment for the rack. I'm obsessed. Okay, I've been playing with it. I'm getting to know all the different settings, all the different tone things. Like, really, truly, though, the thing that I love about this rack is that it can be doubled, right? So right now, you see it's a stack. We've got the two 210s on top of each other, which means I'm pushing a lot of wattage. But I can also use this head with just one of the small SL210s if I'm playing smaller venues, open mics, gigs, like singer-songwriter type shows, smaller, more intimate spaces. Then I usually just take the top rack. And they're super light, too. Like, on girl-based things, I carry my own gear unless, I have somebody who just loves me and wants to carry it. But I like to carry my own gear. And so I'm very cautious of how heavy my equipment is. And when I tell you this is so light, it's super duper light, every single piece of this, right? Like I can and I can walk and do what I need to do. And this head, I have a cute little carrying case, okay? She comes with me and just kind of slings over like a purse. The only thing that I wish that I would have done is waited for the not Black History Month, although period shout out, for the breast cancer awareness cabs because they were pink. And who doesn't want pink accessories? But the classic black is super sleek, she's super sexy, she sounds great. And as always, shout out to Aguilar for always making sure that I'm laced and making sure that I have what I need for my recordings and for my gigs and for my sessions. Speaking of recording, this guy has a cab simulator DI in the back. So we have one direct input here at the top of this head, but we also have a DI in the back for tracking, and that's really, really, really nice because it has a digital cabinet. When I say cab, I mean cabinet. These guys simulator. So even if you've got something like the SL210s, but you want to try the sound of a DB, you can try any of that through the different cabs that they have available through the cab simulator. They sound so good. I actually used the head with the cab simulator in the recording of Japanese whiskey, and it sounds so rich and so yummy without having to actually mic the cab and having a lot more autonomy and creativity with the sound. So if you're looking for a new bass amp head, I definitely recommend the AG700. They also have the tone hammer, which is really nice, but I love how clean and crisp of a sound I can get through the AG. I can always dirty it up with effects pedals, I can always dirty it up with other things, but there's such a clear, crisp sound through this bad boy. Okay, I'm in love, I'm obsessed, right? So this is my baby. But now let's get into the world's most ratchet battery change using scissors instead of the screwdriver, okay? And pray that this works. Y'all, I'm clumsy. That's something you're gonna learn about me. Oh my God, she's okay. Everything's okay, but your girl is clumsy, okay? I never grew out of that. Like, I'm a big grown woman and I still trip over my feet and knock this bad boy around sometimes. So shout out to Fender for being durable, okay? You've been my ride or die. I've been playing Fender for a long time. The scissors work like a charm though, guys. I don't care what anyone says. I know you're supposed to use a proper screwdriver. Don't lose your screws. But in a pinch, scissors are gonna get the job done. But don't be like me. Keep screwdrivers in your gig bag so that you don't have to with these. Okay, so we got the screws off. Like I said, don't lose them. And then this battery head is just gonna kind of pop off with a little leverage. If you got a little bit of nail like me, then you can pop off this back. And let me show you. So you'll see here, the batteries are open. I'm gonna come closer. You see how they go in there? 2 9-volt batteries. So what we're gonna do now is take these bad boys out and replace them with 2 9 volts. It's my daddy. Hold on, I'm gonna pause, answer my daddy, and then I'll call. And I'm back. Done. I'm gonna call you back. Okay, I love you. Okay, bye. Coming out, and these 9 volts are coming in. I haven't done like a test of like, what are the best batteries? So bass players, are you like somebody that only uses a particular brand of 9 volts? If so, I told y'all clumsy. If so, what are your faves? But these are Rayovac. I used to have Duracell in here, but you want to just pop them out. You'll see they're wired. Okay, they're attached. So be careful with the wires. And then they've got little pods that you attach them to in here. So we're gonna pop these bad boys out, wiggle them out, and replace them. Old batteries go here, new battery goes here. Simple like that. Boop. And then number 2. Old battery goes pop. And then new battery goes in. And it'll show you on here like where the input is. You don't have to be confused. They make a lot of sense. They kind of just click together. There you go. And now we've got new 9 volts in there. Tuck them in so they're nice and nestled. You'll see them nestled in there. We're going to take this back, place her back on there, grab my makeshift screwdriver, which is really just scissors, and place those screws back in there. Twist it tight in. Twist tight in. Don't lose screws. Like I said, clumsy is my main thing, so be careful on the little parts so you don't lose screws. Back when I use my hand twist, it's possible that I'll chop it off. And then you know scissors right there. Alright. Beautiful. I think I'm going to twist. I'm going to twist. And we are in business. Alright. She's looking good. Her strings are new. Her battery for the active things are good. We're going to give her a plug-in and see what we can make shake. But the tone sounds great. And then when you tune drop C, these two are the same. So C and C. No, we're already there. Okay, she ate that. Look. Go me, go me, go me, go me, go me, go me. This is Tara. I can actually probably take this a little. And my nails are long, so that's why you get a little bit of bite on there, but other than that, we're good. Let's turn it to active. Make sure those batteries work. Ooh, and the 9 volts fresh. Alright, and that is how you do it. Let me turn this off because I have made the mistake of leaving my battery on. Don't do that. Make sure your battery is off when you've got an active base. And now you're ready to play. She's tuned up, ready to go, cleaned up, shined off, and ready to make magic happen. I hope this was helpful. Thank you for tuning into this episode of SATAR'RA Teaches You Bass Stuff so you don't have to watch some random dude on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and stream my new single, Got a Single Out, Japanese Whiskey. I'm playing bass, I'm singing, I wrote it, I recorded it in Atlanta with some people that I love. So definitely give me a stream and give me a shout out. Follow me on Spotify, join my mailing list, and we'll talk about some more bass things soon.